All right, Bantees, welcome back to an episode of your favorite podcast, Base Hits and Banters. I'm your host, Sam Fisher, here with my best pal, Haley McClenny. What's up, Halo?
Hey Samu, how are ya?
I let's just call it out right
Yeah,
now.
immediately.
You traveled this weekend and you just forgot to pack your voice to come home with you.
Correct. My sinuses and vocal cords have been possessed by a demon. They are not here. I don't know what's happening, but good news is you don't need sinuses or a vocal cord to watch softball. So
That's
I was able to do that this weekend in between some AU Pro Hoops games. Big
woohoo.
shout out to AU Pro Hoops down in Dallas. I was there watching the girls. Um, my ankles broke watching them, honestly.
It's
They're
insane.
they're f- they're amazing, and I've
Yeah.
never felt so small in
Small.
in my life. I know I'm
Yeah.
short, well aware of that,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
they're amazing. So,
I love that.
what games caught your attention this weekend?
Listen, I got to go down to watch ASU Friday night. Oregon State was in town. I definitely always try to make a trip down there when Oregon State's here because my lifelong idol and now good friend Laura Berg is the head coach over there. And softball's only four-time Olympian. I mean, just to add the cherry on top. But it was Friday night was a great game. Oregon State took it 5-3, but they were tied 3-3 going into the seventh inning. Oregon State hit a two-run home run and sealed the deal. So it's good. It's good softball to watch. And yeah, but in places that I wasn't watching in person, I LSU got their first loss
I did see
this
that.
weekend.
Did see that,
Ole
and
Miss took one from them
All OU fans rejoiced because now they can securely have the number one
back to
spot,
number one.
and everything will be fine. There was a
Yes.
time I did think if LSU swept Ole Miss, I was like, I don't know why Oklahoma is number one. Like, there's only one undefeated team. Now
Especially
that
because LSU beat Texas last week too. That game,
handily,
like
handily
beat them.
beat them.
Yeah.
They LSU hooked them horns last week.
They said hook them, but not in the way Texas wanted to.
No, no. And I don't know if you saw or were able to watch this game, but Beth Torina, genius, she had 700 second graders
I
in the
saw that.
stands screaming like little banshees
Yeah,
for LSU.
I love it.
I mean, Baton Rouge is automatically a home field advantage anyway. Like, the people of Louisiana know how to support their college sports.
They
But
do.
how can you be mad when 200, like 700 second graders are cheering against you? Like, you can't be mad.
It's amazing too because those second graders are cheering from first to last pitch. It's not like it dies down. They can scream
Correct.
all day.
They will. And they did, no matter
Yeah.
what the score was, no matter how much
Oh,
LSU was up, they were screaming.
I love that. It was a exciting midweek game. Those are typically hard to get everybody to. So filling the stands and filling it really well and exciting. And yeah,
Yeah.
beat Texas handedly. And then they went on to lose one to Ole Miss, which hats off to Ole Miss for taking it. Uh,
Yes.
we were talking earlier about it's tough to take three games from a team.
It
Like
is
that's tough.
the sweep is one of the hardest things to do
Mhm.
in in softball, just period. Because I mean, again, we'll go back to Oklahoma winning 71 straight games. Like, so many things can just go wrong at any
Yeah.
given moment,
Yeah.
and you don't get one timely hit and you drop a game, or you
100%.
have one pass ball and you drop a game. Like,
Hmm.
to get a sweep is really hard, especially when you're playing like tough competition. You're getting familiar with the team that you're playing every
Yeah.
single day. You're going back to the hotel or back, in the locker room, making adjustments. Like, it's so hard.
Yeah.
But we did have some sweeps this
That
weekend
we did.
and some like pretty big time sweeps. Most
Yeah.
impressive was the upset sweep of Kansas
Yeah.
over Baylor. And
Yeah.
Baylor looked really good against Oklahoma State, very
Hmm.
competitive.
Yeah.
For, I mean, it's March, so we're going to be talking about Kansas, but not Kansas softball. We're
Right.
talking about Kansas basketball
Basketball.
this time of
Yeah.
year. We're talking about softball and their pitching staff. I'm going to read off some stats here,
Please, please.
and they absolutely crushed it. Okay, so we had Casey Hamilton and Katie Brooks. Katie Brooks, she's 10-1 on the season with a 1.44 ERA. She
Amazing.
went the distance in the final game on Sunday. And then Casey Hamilton, senior lefty, these stats are going to jump out at you. 7-5 with a 2.38 ERA in 85 innings, but they
Wow.
work so well together. They just
Yeah.
went back and forth all weekend. Baylor scored 2 runs the
That's what's
whole,
crazy.
the whole weekend. It
Yeah.
was mind-boggling. So Rock Chalk Jayhawk. I think I did that right. I don't
I
know.
mean, I give you a thumbs up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But
And
that's
we,
it. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like those scores were really close. So, like what you were saying, one hit goes one way or the other. You don't know, but Kansas held on, and to hold Baylor to 2 runs in 3 games, it's well done.
Well freaking done to the
Well done.
Jayhawks. Well done.
Outstanding. We saw Tennessee swept Missouri,
Man.
which I know we had talked that I could have seen that series going either way because they're both strong. They're both
Yes.
coming out really strong in 2024. And I don't know that I was expecting a sweep
I
either
don't
way.
I wasn't expecting a sweep. It was at Tennessee. Tennessee is kind of like a tricky, tough place to play.
Mm-hmm.
Right by the railroad tracks. You got Aubrey Leach in that dugout.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
assassin.
Tennessee's always gonna be good. Tough at
Yeah,
home. I thought Tennessee would take the series. I didn't think they would sweep, and I
right.
didn't think they would sweep in such dominant fashion.
Yeah,
Missouri, not a knock on Missouri. Missouri's had a great year, but
yeah,
they weren't in a single game.
yeah.
Tennessee had
No,
momentum for literally 21 straight innings.
yep.
And this Pickens kid that's in the circle, that's like 6'1" and 5'10" of it is legs,
Yeah,
is slinging the rock. She's throwing like
she,
it looks like 77 miles an hour. I don't know
yeah,
what it actually
easily.
is, but she's also throwing a changeup too.
Yeah.
And fun fact, um, this was her 8th shutout of the year, and she has now a shutout streak of 46 innings without
Gee.
allowing a single run. She hasn't allowed a run since March 2nd. 8 wins over that stretch, 6 complete games, and 6 shutouts while striking out 58. Teams are hitting, get this, that's my laugh without a voice. Teams are hitting .099 with 15 hits.
Oh my gosh.
Fif- she has given up 15 hits since
That
March
is
2nd. That's
unbelievable.
unreal. And when you have an offense that's got Kiki Malloy,
Yeah.
I mean, McKenna Gibson, they're so deep, they're so
Yeah.
stacked. I mean, if Tennessee gets hot at the right time, like I could definitely see them competing for a national
See
championship.
him in OKC for sure. Yeah. But I thought you were just violently dabbing.
I had to I had to clear my throat after talking so much.
You're doing so great. Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
That's the more
oh,
intentional dab.
thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
mean,
Thank you.
you said fun fact, but then spewed like 40 fun facts. So
It's a lot.
that's amazing. Really, really exciting. Let's bring it a little west. Are you okay? Are you scared?
No, I
Okay.
just think it's amazing, all
No,
those
it's
fun facts and stats. Like I did, how do you do
yes.
that?
The numbers are like telling this amazing,
How do
scary
you do that?
story.
It's wild out here in these streets.
It is. Softball's so hard.
It is. But some weeks you make it look easy, like
Yeah.
Pickens.
Yeah. Pickens is like, I'll pick him, I'm sorry for saying that. That was a really bad pun. But Stanford dropped one to Sac State. Let me tell you, Sac State was my college rival. So
Yes. Go
like
Lions.
I love an upset, but I'm not happy about it.
No,
I don't want them to win.
no, no, we
I
don't.
can't I can't let go of the college rivalry. I can't. But
No.
huge win against Stanford. Uh
Unbelievable.
and then in the pack we saw Washington dropped one to Arizona, which we're talking about sweeps. Washington is so close every weekend and just drops that one.
Yeah.
I
What
wonder
I
what
don't I'm not sure what the deal is. I mean, the first 2 games against Arizona, they crushed them. They
yeah.
scored 13. I think it was 13 and 11 runs. Like
Yeah, yes.
Arizona wasn't even in the game. Run rules.
No.
Mercy rules were happening.
Yes.
Washington's clearly the better team,
Yes.
but it's so again to be cruising like that through 2 games. I think realistically, it's hard to be able to get up for the third and be like,
Yeah.
are they going to challenge us? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Washington like didn't respect Arizona or anything like that, but I
Right.
I just think it's really hard to stay up and stay elevated over
Mhm.
the course of a series when you're dominating a team
Yeah.
like that in the first two games.
Yeah.
But shout out to Arizona for
Yeah.
coming back, for Caitlin Lowe, Lap, Christian Conrad, all our friends down at Arizona.
Yeah.
Um, they looked really good in that last game. So I think if
Yeah.
they can get some momentum and turn it around, like they can definitely make some noise in the pack.
For sure. They're already well and above the season that they had last year. So you
Mhm.
love to see that whether you're doing well or not, when you compare it and
Yes.
you look back on what you were doing previously and you see that growth and you see that improvement, I think at the end of the day, that's all anybody can ask for. Uh,
Totes.
but yeah, we did see Florida State took one from Duke. That was
Yeah.
that Duke is man, Duke is good.
Duke is really
And
good. And again, it's March and we're talking about
yeah,
Duke, but we're talking about Duke softball.
yes.
I loved the way you could tell in game three of that Duke and Florida State series.
Mhm.
Florida State started to get a little momentum, and you were like, okay, like, is the Seminole Magic, like, is it like, are they gonna do
Right.
it? It's gonna be a turning point for Florida State because they've struggled all
Right.
year long. And Duke was like nail and coffin, like, no, you can tie it up in the seventh. We'll take it to extras and we'll take
Mhm.
care of business. And for a young program like Duke to be able to do that against a historically great
Right.
season clutch moment program in Florida State,
Mhm.
I think shows a lot of maturity from Duke.
Truly.
And I think
Truly.
that's one of the games that they're going to be able to pull back from
Yeah.
later on in the year when they're in regional supers
So
to go on the
true.
road to do that in Tallahassee. I mean,
Yeah.
big shout out to Duke. Cassie
Yeah.
Card is an animal. Jayla Wright is an animal.
So good.
I mean, like the
Just
ball's
solid.
moving, it's changing speeds.
Yeah.
They're tough. They're really, really tough.
Absolutely.
I think
And
they
I
can win
look at
the
a series.
ACC.
Yeah, and I look at a series like this and I see that Florida State is, I mean, in 3 games, they scored 14 runs. That should be enough to win 3 games.
It should be enough.
So
It
just
should be
time,
enough.
that's where you look at it. I mean, I come from in college, we had a great hitting team. We could score 6, 7 runs a game, but then we'd give up 8 or 9. So it's tough
Sure.
to see that because you're doing it on one side of the ball, really getting it done. And then it says a lot too about Duke saying, okay, we'll give up 14 runs. We're just going to score
We're
what,
just
how
gonna
many
hit.
yeah, they scored 21 in 3 games.
Yeah,
So
amazing.
yeah, it's just interesting softball. Softball is looking different every weekend, but it's looking good. And I like
Most in-
watching it.
the most interesting sport in the world.
That reminds me of the most interesting man in the world, this softball, the most interesting sport in the world.
That's Dos Equis, right?
Yeah, I realized that it was Dos Equis as I was saying it, and
I
and
love that.
that's for
They
the
can
adults.
Dos Equis, if you're out there listening to Basics and Banter, I'm sure you're a Bantee.
Yeah.
Feel free to
Fancy it on over
sponsor.
here. The most
Sponsor
interesting
Basics and
sport
Banter.
in the world.
Shameless plug. The most interesting sports podcast in the world is right here.
That's right, baby. And if transitioning out of the old top 25, if you want to look the part, we've got USA Softball Store. You guys go check it out. I cannot express. I know I'm the one wearing the red hoodie today, the Halo favorite, but this thing is so out of control comfortable. You know, when you get a blanket
Insane.
to like sit down and like it's raining outside and you're like, I just want to feel so cozy and comfy. It's like that's this
It
sweatshirt.
is.
And go, yeah, check it out, usasoftballstore.com, and you can still use that BHB15 code to get 15% off your entire purchase. So not just this great sweatshirt, but everything else that you get.
We highly recommend you get the sweatshirt though.
Yeah, no, like at the end of the day, number one thing in the cart, sweatshirt, and then continue your shopping.
Yeah, 100%.
What's next,
It is
Halo?
so cozy. Well, we are gonna transfer into our Banty balance, which is what
Yeah,
we're calling our
I
mental
so
health
love.
section. Yeah, absolutely love it. We're just chatting about, softball and life. And today's topic is women's mental health in sports and navigating challenges and cultivating resilience. So, really just talking about the ups and downs of the mental health space when it comes to being a female athlete
Yeah.
and why that differs from being a male athlete with all of the stuff that we deal with. So
Hmm.
Sam, I would love to get your initial thoughts on that if you ever,
Yeah.
want to share a story or just
Yeah.
have some overall thoughts on being a woman.
Yeah, you talk about being a woman and then you talk about being a woman in sports, and those conversations are really connected, but they're also two completely different conversations, because it's
Hmm.
hard enough being a lady and then
Yeah,
being in sports is different, especially in the athlete part, right? Where you're out there
totally.
playing the sport. But the one thing I thought about as I saw this is what we're going to talk about today is um I think a lot about my social media presence on Twitter and
Mm.
everywhere where people say stupid things all the time, all the live long day.
Oh,
And I hate it. I will comment back. I will tweet back. I will, um, repost something stupid that someone says and say, LOL, bro. Like call it out because I think at the end of the day, something that I've learned is when people, even if they're joking, even if they're
yeah.
saying this as a joke, when you ask them to explain why it's funny, they can't because it's not funny. It's sexist.
There you go.
It's it's not funny. And
Right.
listen, I just was about to quote Finding Nemo when he's like, "I'm a clownfish. I know funny."
Yeah. But you do know funny.
Yes. So I was thinking, like, why is it important to me to say these things to these people on the internet? Because most of the time, it's not going to make a difference in what they think. But I've realized that I want young girls that are in sport to see that that's not like we don't tolerate that. And I want them to see me standing up for myself as a woman in sport so that they know
Period.
it's safe for them to stand up for themselves because
Period.
we don't take it. We don't take women belong in the kitchen. We don't take wow 200 feet anybody could. I'm in a TikTok battle right now on Easton
Yeah.
posted. You see that? Easton
Yes, I
posted
did.
this video of me swinging with the new ghost. Shout out Easton, I love you so much.
Big
Um,
big Easton gals over here.
and it's front toss on a field, right? I'm just hitting the ball for a video shoot to get them angles. And the comments are so crazy and
It's
about,
wild.
oh, there's no such like, oh, pro. And so I've just been commenting back at them like, LOL, she's probably not even an All-American. Like, what a loser. you
In
know?
only Samu fashion, commenting
Yeah,
back,
right.
getting into those battles. But
Where you just
it's
don't
so
take it.
important.
Yeah,
No, don't take it. It's so
don't take
important to
it.
be able to stand up for yourself. And I think too, just like one of the I've seen this on the internet somewhere, like advice that someone is giving, and it's like no one's coming. Like no one's coming to fight your battle for you. You've got to stand
Wow.
up for yourself and fight your own
Hmm.
battles. And so like if you feel like you need to stand up for yourself, freaking do it. Because
Yeah,
what we do is hard
yeah,
and what we do is important.
yeah,
Like it's just so funny and wild to me that like JV men's basketball players or JV baseball players will
yeah,
comment stuff and be like, "Oh, I take her 450 dead center." Like, okay, bro, try it.
yeah,
And when they
yeah,
have tried it, they look like absolute buffoons.
yeah.
Like I'm thinking about the Daniel Laurie video
Oh,
that went
amazing.
viral. I'm thinking about
Yeah,
like Jenny Finch striking out.
yep.
Like wasn't it like Albert Pujols or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. The
Like
Albert Pujols.
the literally like one of the best hitter, like a
Yes.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And I
And
think I think that at the end of the day, it's not about who's better. It's about standing side by side. Like I think about like even just talking you and me, right? Like men in sport, they get to be competitive, they get to be fiery, they get to have work ethic and work hard. I'm like, I've yet to meet a man that is more competitive than me and you. Like thinking about the people that I
agreed.
know, I have yet to meet a man that is more competitive than me. Maybe as competitive, but it's like, where's the competition, dog? Like, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna do the work that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna perform and I'm gonna play ball at the highest level that I can.
Mhm.
And so are you.
Yes.
I celebrate you. Like I don't see girls on baseball videos saying, "Oh my God, weak, bad
Well,
swing."
no. Yeah, I mean, should we? I don't know.
Maybe I'll develop a new
Is
hobby.
that reverse psychology? I don't know. Maybe
Right?
we can just create like a hundred
Right.
thousand burner accounts and just blow them up. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, we're not gonna do that. But it's so wild that like I personally don't understand it because for you to not celebrate someone or for you to knock someone down, that doesn't elevate you.
Right. Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just because you're commenting stuff on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, it's like, oh, like talking trash, being a troll, whatever, that
Mhm.
makes you look worse. Like, it
100,
doesn't make you look any better. So, like,
100%.
celebrating other people takes nothing away from you and your individual journey or your individual success. So
Mhm.
just like leave it at the door and celebrate everybody.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we both love watching Major League Baseball,
Yes.
right? Like have nothing.
Absolutely.
I don't go up there saying like, "Oh, I'm 100% better than Mike Trout. I'm 100% better than Bryce Harper. I could have hit that slider." No, I'm so glad my voice is like this today, so I can actually talk like this because this is what I
Perfect
think I
timing.
sound like. But like,
Perfect.
just celebrate other people. Celebrate other,
Yes.
and when you stand up for yourself and you fight for yourself, you gain a ton of confidence from that. We
So
get
true,
questions all the
Halo.
time. We get questions all the time, like, "Oh, how can I be more confident in the box? How can I be, just more confident on the field?" Like,
Hmm.
start fighting for yourself. Start advocating for
Yeah.
yourself. Start like remembering your resume and being able to recite.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, and at the end of the day, do the things that make you successful. Like if somebody's going to talk about you because you're a girl or because you're a woman and they think you're less than because of that, remember the things that make you extremely powerful, right? Like there's so many things that make you powerful because of who you are. And like that's that. I remember looking up to athletes growing up. It was like, look, Derek Jeter and Michael Jordan. And it wasn't because they were dudes. It was because of the traits that they exuded: work ethic,
mm,
class,
mm,
competitive nature, drive.
mm,
Those are not gendered traits.
no,
So we can all be competitors and athletes at the end of the day, period.
yes. And parents, let your kids be competitive and
Yeah.
like let them show their emotions. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do think this will be something that we will talk about in a more like a longer, because there's a lot to say about it. There's a lot of things that we've seen and heard, but definitely something we want to expand on because it's really important. Uh, just being a girl in general, we're here for you, gal pals.
Totes. And it's Women's History Month. So
That's
like
right, baby.
there's no better time to be a
No,
woman than now.
hey Barbie.
Shameless Barbie plug. Hey Barbie, want to sponsor us? No, for real.
Yeah, Barbie, listen.
It's amazing. All right, well, let's transition into some HPP and national team news.
Let's hear about it.
Camu, got some exciting stuff. So invites for the College Park, Maryland identifier were posted on Friday, and 21 more
Mhm.
athletes were selected for the national selection event in Vero Beach at the Jackie Robinson Training Center, December 12th through 15th. I'll be there. Sam will be there, so we can't wait to
You,
see all of you.
you
The
said
next
it.
identifier coming up really quickly is in Marietta, Georgia on April 7th, and you can visit hpp.usasoftball.com for
There it
more
is.
information or a list of other identifiers.
The .com part sounded even better.
Dot
Dot com.
com.
Dot com.
It's literally like
You gotta
all
like,
my through.
like, come on, girl.
My girly.
So, next week we've got just every weekend's been so exciting, but looking ahead, this weekend we've got LSU at Missouri. So I'm curious to see how Missouri turns around after a sweep, see how they're going to go and take on, one of the top teams in the country. We've got Baylor at Oklahoma. It's a Friday night. The Friday night game is at the USA Softball Hall of Fame Stadium, and that's expecting a sellout crowd of 9,000 fans.
Are you
Nine
kidding?
9,000 fans
For just a Friday night
in
softball game
March.
in March
Yep. At
in
the
Oklahoma City.
softball capital of the world.
At the softball capital of the world. So you guys use your codes if you're going to the game.
Yes,
Use your discount codes and cop one of those hoodies.
absolutely. And even if you go into the store at the stadium, you'll see them. You'll see them in
You'll see
there.
them. You'll see them. And you'll
Um,
grab one.
yes. Oh man. You know who I'm curious to see coming up this weekend is UCLA at Washington. I
Gonna
think
be a phenomenal series.
yes, I think it's going to be good. UCLA has not had a classic UCLA start.
Mm-mm.
I I am bummed. I will say this. They played a doubleheader against LMU this week.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
No, it's okay. LMU did drop both games 8-0. and I talked to one of the grad managers about, I was like, what the heck? Like I honest to God thought LMU was going to win. And I'm not super Delulu. I'm regular Delulu.
I believed in them.
I
I
thought
really
they
did.
had a shot. And so UCLA, I wonder if they're like, you know what, we're done. We're going and we're playing like UCLA, you know? So I think I think this weekend will be a really big season statement for UCLA going up to Washington.
Yeah, totally agree. And it being in Seattle, potentially some weather, you never
Yeah.
know. Could get a little dicey.
Yeah.
Washington's looked really good. I do think UCLA is on the upswing, so I think that's going to be a
Yeah.
great series.
You're
We've
right.
also got Kentucky at Florida, which I think could be very interesting. Florida
Agree.
obviously taking a series from Alabama.
Mhm.
Kentucky hasn't looked as strong, but they're always that team that just scraps, finds a way to
Yep.
win. So I
They're
think that'll
good.
be a really good series. You got Arizona at Cal, which I think is going to be really important for Pac-12 positioning.
You're right.
Um, Arizona coming off that series to Washington, and then you got Alabama traveling to Virginia Tech, coming off a series loss to Georgia.
Yeah.
Important
They got to
for
go
the
win.
Tide. Got to go win.
That's right,
Got to
baby.
go win. Got to take those games. Um, Alabama also started 0-2 in series a season ago in the SEC, but ended up making it to the Women's College World Series.
We
So
love to
just
see it.
just want to throw some optimism out there for the Tide. Looked really good in Game 3
Yeah,
in both series.
they
So
did.
let's move that to Friday. Let's move it to Saturday,
Let's
and we'll
just bring
keep
it
on
sooner.
trucking.
Just
Yeah,
bring it
just
out
bring it in
bring it out sooner.
just a little earlier. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking. That's it, and they're
Yes.
gonna be fine. But it's gonna
That's
be a
right.
great weekend. Gonna be
I
another great
agree.
weekend of college soccer.
And speaking of what's coming up, we've got a great guest. Holy buckets. We haven't said holy buckets all episode.
Holy buckets!
Holy buckets, you guys.
I'm
Wait, I
foaming
need
at the
to take a
mouth.
sip of my water.
Wow! Look
Holy
at that
buckets. You
cup.
guys see this?
Look at that cup.
If you're not watching and you're just listening, I'm showing the microphone my new USA softball cup. Anyway, hydration is important, but
Always.
stay tuned for our guest. It's great conversation as usual. I feel like just constantly getting knocked out of the park with who we're bringing on. So
Yes.
enjoy. Halo. I'll see you there.
Enjoy. Can't wait.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. Our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
All right, Bantees, listen, you guys are in for a treat here. And I say that obviously with an extremely biased perspective because our guest today is the one and only Amanda Chiddester. Amanda, welcome to Base Hits and Banter.
I can't wait to be a part of this.
We're going to give a little intro. And by we, I mean me. And I just walk around with notes about you in general, like in my pocket day to day. So here we go, everybody. Amanda Chister graduated from the University of Michigan, Go Blue, in 2012, where she was not only a two-time All-American, but two-time Big Ten Player of the Year. Just, unstoppable monster. Played for the first time with Team USA in 2012, a memorable year, if I do say so myself, and then continued on and Euro, Olympic silver medalist, super casual. And now you're in your second season coaching at the University of Michigan. So go blue again. Amanda, that's like also I'm calling you Amanda a lot. Chiddy, that's like just scratching the surface of you as a softball professional, international player. But you've done some big things. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's like living the dream, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what we did every single day for all those years. We lived out our dream. And every time I look back at it, there's no regrets. And I loved every second of it.
Halo, I don't have any follow-up questions.
That's it. That's we can end it right there, honestly.
Yeah,
No,
no
I mean,
regrets.
like, Chitty, first of all, I'm so happy you're on with us. You are one of my favorite teammates to play with because the professional approach that you took just every single day was admirable. And I love that you said that you ended your career with absolutely no regrets. Like a lot of people don't have that luxury. So can you just tell our Bantees why you approached the game the way that you did and
Mhm.
how you got I feel like you soaked every single ounce out of your playing career. Like, can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I think that it's something, maybe it could be something that's a little bit in me, but like I never took for granted playing every summer after college. Like I knew so many people who went and got real jobs, and I was like, I
Boo.
don't want one yet.
Mm-mm.
And so it's like and I knew there was always more in me. I think that's what kept me going the most, is like I haven't even scratched the surface of what I feel like is my potential, and I have so much more to learn and so much more to, I don't know, show out on that field. Like I worked so hard my whole life, and it's just like I want to keep bringing out more and more. And you go through the beginning years of being out of college and trying to figure out your way and figure out what are those next steps. Do you keep playing? Do you not keep playing? Do you start your life? Do you not start your life? Like there's all those things. But then I don't know. I think that honestly, like the game pays you back when you respect the game, right? So it's like I put so much into the game that it kept giving me opportunities. Every year a new opportunity came up, and that to me was just like amazing. Like let's keep going. It was it started with Japan, and then it was Italy, and then playing professional like in the NPF, and and there was just those. And again, all those years I felt like there was more. And then that year I got cut from USA. I think that was the year that really like kind of like pieced everything together for me, because it was like I literally have to go all in all areas, meaning emotionally with who I am and what I represent, physically with my nutrition and what kind of workouts I'm doing, and then like softball wise, like how am I performing? Like what areas do I need to be better at? No one needs to tell me that. Like I know I need to be better in this, and this, and like how can I do that? So I don't know. I just think that throughout those years, like I wanted to keep playing the game and getting better and playing with my friends. And like I said, the game kept giving me opportunities, and I was going to keep taking them while I could.
That's so
Well
good.
said.
Well said. Seriously. Oh,
Yeah.
you took my second question that I was going to ask you about the process of you being cut from USA.
Mhm.
Can you share a little bit more about that, and how
Yeah.
like the steps that you did, obviously going through that very, very difficult, but I think you handled it the best anyone possibly could by like just looking in the mirror and just like freaking owning it. And then
Totally.
for you to come back better, like it was just one of the coolest things I think to watch. So can you share a little bit more just about that journey and what that was like for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think, we've all experienced like tryouts, right? Like
Yeah.
the emotions, the
Garbage.
anxieties, like it's a tough moment for any athlete to go through, where like literally your destiny is in the hands of other people's opinions. And it is like, it's tough,
Whoa.
right? I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
My
Whoa.
God.
True.
It's a
And
lot.
so I know. And so like, you can tell yourself any kind of story. Like, I mean, life is all about the story that you tell yourself. And so like when you go into these tryouts, like I don't know, like you can convince yourself that you had the best tryout ever, but did you really,
Mm.
And when I look back at those moments and, going into those tryouts and evaluating myself over the years, like I knew that my offense was, I wouldn't say the best it could be, but it was good enough to be on the team. But
Mm.
in the end, like when you sit there, it's like, it's good enough to be on the team. Like, what is that? Like, why do I want to settle for that? Like, I want to be the best in the world, right? Like, so that
Yeah.
should be the standard, because then when if you do, but because most people do, you start standard high. And if you fall short, you're still going to be one of the best. But if
Yeah.
your standard's like, I need to be good enough to make the team, then you're not going to be good enough. It's going to be lower, and you're not going to get on that team. And so I think going into those tryouts, like I just kept convincing myself, well, I'm good enough to make this team. Like that was my standard. I
Mm.
mean, that's like too low. And when you continue to make the team, like nothing challenges you to change that mindset, right? Like you make the team,
Yeah.
you play, like nothing challenges you. And that year that I got put on the B team, the elite team or whatever, it
Yeah.
was like, it hit me, but it was like, I was still a part of things. So it's like, okay, like I'm going to be better. Like I knew my arm needed to be better. I knew my defense, I needed to move better, and I wasn't. But again, I was good enough to be there. I wasn't great though. And so then that following year when I got cut, it was just like, yeah, I needed to look myself in the mirror and be like, what areas do I convince myself of like something different, right? Like my nutrition needed a haul, right? Like I needed to lock into that. And it was tough at first. Like every day was a battle. And now it's like it's second nature. But you know, when you're trying to build a habit with something, it is a grind and it is a mind game. Like my thought process was like win the battle. And it was winning the battle with your mind every single day. Like that was my whole intent of that whole year. Like I was going to win the battle. And, you know, not too many people know this, but like that year that I got cut, I told myself like, you don't deserve to wear USA. So like, you're not wearing I mean, you know how much USA stuff I had up until that point?
My God.
I didn't touch any of it. Like I wasn't going to wear that until I got to that next tryout and made that team. And that was the first time I put it back on was when I was at that tryout. And again, like my standard was like, I want to be the best one there, like not just good enough to be on that team. And I think that sometimes I wouldn't say it was rock bottom, but it was pretty close, right? Like it's like you work all the way up into this point of making the team and being in the Olympics and you get cut the year before. Like, I mean, I could sit there and blamed. I could play the blame card. It's this person's fault. The excuses could have poured out of me. No one told me. Why isn't anyone helping me? I mean, how many people I called and asked like why I didn't make the team or what I needed to do? No one could give me answers. But at the end of the day, like I had the answers. I just needed to buck up and do it.
God.
Wow. I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
Yeah.
Right
Like,
mean,
is it, you know, like I don't often not have words, let's be real. But I think what my follow-up question wanted to be, you've transitioned into perfectly, is the accountability factor in that, like you said, like some other people hold your destiny in your hands, but at the end of the day, there's so much, like what you said, there's so much that you could do, so much that you could look in the mirror and say, how can I get better? How can I grow? And I think there's a lot of finger pointing a lot of times in athletics of like, well, they're not playing me because of them. But in reality, maybe you're not in the lineup because of you. So can you talk about getting to that point of, because I think some people get scared to admit I'm not good enough.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, right?
It's
like
vulnerable.
It's vulnerable. Like, yeah. And that's at the end of the day, you have to be vulnerable with yourself. You have to be real with yourself. And or else it's going to be tough to get to where you want to go. Truly. Like, and you have to give up fear along the way too, you know, like a lot of times fear holds you back. Cause what if it didn't work out? You know, what if all that work I put in, it didn't pay off? But then what if it did, you know, and what if it does? Like, so it's just like, and you have to ask your what's worth it for you, you know, and everyone's different. Like, but when I think accountability comes with you knowing what you want. Like if you truly know what you want, then it's easy to be accountable for things because it's what you want. It's what you're striving for. So it can't be what anyone else wants. Like I wanted to be on that team and I wanted to be the best hitter in the world. And I wanted everyone to turn their heads and be like, we have to have her on our team. And that's my goal. So when I would go to the gym, you know, 4 or 5 times a week for 2+ hours working on different things, like that's my choice. And I woke up every day looking forward to going to the gym and literally completely transforming my body to be more athletic. And it is just like, it was a choice I made. So I think accountability, the first question comes, well, what the heck do you want? You know, like that, I mean, that's the first thing. And then hold yourself to that every day, because if that's what you truly want, then all the work you put into it is easy.
God.
It's not easy, but it's an easy decision.
Yeah, it's easy to show up when you know what you want. Like it's easy for you to like get out of bed in the morning, go to the gym, put in the
hesitation.
work. Because you were focused with that end goal in mind.
Yep. That's what I wanted.
Huge. That's what people need to hear, because like you said, it's vulnerability, there's fear, but there's so much strength in accepting that. Cause like, look at the turnaround. Not that you weren't a great player already. It's taking nothing away from you up to 2019, but look at the last 3-4 years of your career and how just dominant you were. And that to look at this story, to listen to you talk about it, and for people to listen to it and think, holy cow, like you finished stronger than you began.
Holy
and
buckets.
That's because you looked in the mirror and you made a choice. And I think Halo and I have talked about this a lot with each other, is like doing what you want to do, not what you think you should want to do. Or like, do you really want, we've all been around people who were like, why are you here? Like, do you want to be here? You know? So digging deep and asking yourself, what do I want and why do I want it and what can I do to go get it?
Yeah, what is it going to take to get me there
What is it going
too?
to take?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a huge question to ask.
Well, Chitty, were there any, obviously accountability is a tough, it's a tough thing. Like you said, it's uncomfortable. Was there anything like tangible that you did to help yourself feel more comfortable in that accountability piece? Like
Mm.
Yeah,
helping
that's a great
yourself see
question.
the real situation? Like,
Yeah.
because I think sometimes we kind of get lost in the sauce where it's like, I know I need to be better, but I kind of want to blame others. Like, I don't like,
You don't know where to go
how
next.
can
Yeah.
I? Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I listened to some podcasts, like read some books, like things like that. And I had done that before, but you can read a book and say, oh, that was good, but then never act on any of it. Right. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that for me, like I said, like one of my mottos for, the year 2019 was like win the battle. And that was
Yeah.
like in a lot of aspects of my life, like with the simplest things, right? When you wake up in the morning and you look at your bed and it's not made, like I look at that bed and it's like win the battle, just make it right now. Like just make it right now. When there's dishes in the sink, right? Like I could do it later or I could just do it right now, right? And I mean, for me personally, like I would always say I was going to do all these things in a day, and then I never did all of them. So unconsciously, I'm not following through with the things that I'm saying. Like I'm not doing what I say I'm going to do. And when you do the things that you say you're going to do, it builds confidence. And so I made my days more realistic so that I could complete what I wanted to in that day. And that started building more and more confidence in myself, even in my everyday life, And so I think that was like the big thing. It was like, the another motto I had was like little by little, a little becomes a lot. Like the nutrition was a tough one. Like I sat there and I counted everything that was going into my body and then what I was exerting and trying to figure out the combination of just like really diving into it, getting enough protein, all the things that I was always like, I guess this is good, or this is a good gauge. Like I half did things a lot. And then I had to fully do them to understand truly how to do them. So then I could be like, oh, okay, like I have an idea. It doesn't need to be so strict. So kind of had to be strict with myself with a lot of the things in the beginning to then understand what it was that I needed and what I was capable of as well, before I could kind of, let my hair down a little.
Wow.
I
That's amazing.
love what you said about the things in a day. Like sometimes people will make a checklist and like, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And at the end of the day, it might not be realistic. And when you don't get it done, you feel like a failure. Especially for athletes, I know, Amanda, you talk about rest as well. Like a lot of
that was a big one.
huge, but I can think
Yeah.
personally of times where I'm like, I can't take a day off. I'm going to be lazy. I'm not working hard enough. But
Right.
adding in that rest piece, or like maybe I don't need to get 400 things done today. Maybe I can just get one thing done and it's what works best for me. So that rest or that giving yourself some grace in figuring out those things.
I agree. I think grace was a big one, is like understanding that every day is not going to be perfect. But like, you keep building on it, and to your point, like little by little, a little becomes a lot. Like I was trying to do everything all in one day. Like, no, just do a few things each day and be consistent with it. Same with the food, like just a little bit each day and just be consistent with it. And over time, it just, again, like it's just a compound effect. And I think that was a huge piece to everything with that. And like, yeah, you're right. Rest is a huge piece to it. Like getting enough sleep. I don't think athletes get enough sleep, right? You count the hours on your finger, but do you count all the awake time that you actually have? I didn't know about that. Like I look back and as a college athlete, like I probably needed more sleep. Hydration, another big one. Like you got to stay hydrated. Like, and doing things outside. Like I think balance is so important in life. Like it may have looked like all I did was work out and play softball, but there were other things added in there that I enjoy doing as well. Like, playing tennis or going on walks, being outside, paddleboarding, I don't know, kayak, like anything outdoorsy was like, I was always trying to go to when I had a second. So filling your bucket in those ways as well.
Do you guys know the answer to like, how do you eat an elephant? Have you heard this?
No.
No.
One bite at a time.
Wow.
I like Amanda's dropping truth bombs and I'm sitting here thinking about how to eat an elephant. That's like exactly what she's saying. It's just one bite at a time. Like, look at this big elephant.
Yeah.
It's just one bite at a time. And that's
Wow.
And this
little
big
by
goal, this big dream, like it's
100%.
one step at a time. And
Yeah.
yeah, and there's going to be failures along the way, but that's like it's part of it. It's like how do you learn from that? Like how can you be better from that? It's not that your dreams are gone because you failed. Like that's not
Yeah.
realistic either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chitty, that's so good. That's so good. And
It's
it's something that so many young athletes need to hear. I think just that accountability piece, like showing up and doing the work, like
Yeah.
what you're talking about is not instant gratification. And we live in a culture of like, I do work one day and I expect a result immediately. Like playing a long game, I think is super important. So has this process for you transitioned into how you coach your athletes at Michigan? Like, do you see like little things from your journey that have helped you in relating and connecting to your athletes that you have now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in big ways for sure, and just trying to help them with those little nuggets. But I think that like the biggest thing that I have learned in my coaching is that, I can give them all the little nuggets, but at the end of the day, like you need to experience it yourself. You need to fail on your own. You need to know what it feels like to you know, I don't know, not be good or mess up or just kind of like sit in that to know, okay, I want to get out of this. Like, because you can prep someone all you want, but like they need to go through it themselves. They need to figure it out for themselves. And so I think a lot of that, like when I first went in, it was like, oh, I got all the answers to all your problems. But in reality, it's like, yeah, but they have to be ready to hear them when it becomes their problem, So I've learned that, experiences in life are everything. Experiences for yourself are everything. And then learning from those and growing in those is huge. Like you can't take that away from anyone. And just like us, like we all experience things and we're like, oh, I wish someone would have told me sooner, but would we have even been ready for that? I don't know. So I think, it's taught me to have patience with it and to, give them things when they're ready for it. I think that's been the biggest thing.
I think that's great parenting advice
Truly.
as well.
Truly.
I really do. Like, but
That's
what you're
funny.
saying, like, making things hard for your athletes isn't a bad thing.
No. You want to make them hard.
No.
You want them to feel all of that and go through all of it, because then how do you respond? Because when you get in the game, it's like hardly ever goes your way. So it's like, how are we responding? What are the tools? Like it's all about giving someone tools and being able to utilize them when they need it. But then they got to remember the tools. So then you just have to keep reminding them of the tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halo and I talk on, we have a little segment on our podcast is about mental health. It's called the Banty Balance. We just named it. Actually, Kylie named it.
Yeah, big shout out, Kylie.
And one of the things we've talked about is pressure. And what you're talking about right now, essentially like leading these kids in a place where nothing really in life is easy, especially things worth having, right? And I want to tie that into your last at bat that you had as a professional softball player. It did bring some of us to tears.
On live television.
On live television. I don't know who, I can't name names.
Can't recall.
But I can't think of a bigger moment. I mean, there's big moments in your life, right? But your very last at bat, we're playing Athletes Unlimited. There was a rain delay. There was lightning in the sky. Even the gods were putting off the end of your career. And you were down in the count, man. And
I was 0-2.
Yeah, you can't get downer in the count.
Yeah,
and you blasted a home run. A no doubter, mind you. What?
I know, honestly, I don't know. It was like one of those at bats where it's just like, I don't know. I didn't black out. Like I knew what was going on, but like to get to the pitch that I got to, it was just like one of those like, dang.
Yeah.
Did I just do that? Especially because she kept throwing me away.
Yeah.
And I kept fouling him off. And I'm like, she has this nasty drop curve. Like it's gonna be coming soon. Like
Yeah.
I need to be ready to turn on this. And so like that was my thought process. Like she's coming in. Like I had this feeling that she was coming in and I needed to be ready. And it's like one of those things where it's like you kind of tell yourself, okay, be ready for that drop in. And it's just like you know where you need to get your barrel. And you just trust your body that it gets there.
Yeah.
And it did. I was like, let's go. Because like again, I kept getting taken out. I'm like, she's gonna be coming in. And so I mean, honestly, to do that, it just like wrapped up my whole entire career in such a way that was just like, thank you game for that. Like I know like I have given so much to this game and the game has given so much to me, and just like thank you. Like that was like the greatest ending I could have ever asked for. And to have all of my family and friends to be there and niece to be there, it was just like, yeah, it's like the perfect ending. And it was worth every moment of every bit of sacrifice and all the things that go into playing all the years. And it was just a complete blessing. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, I mean, it's just one of those feelings is so surreal and you can't really even describe. It was just like the softball gods like took over my body or something.
Yeah.
You know?
It was incredible. It was one of my favorite softball memories, and I was in left field.
We were in the
I was
stand,
hanging out
man.
with my parents, and I was just literally just watched the ball sail 5,000 feet over my head. Like it wasn't just it's not one of those ones that like barely got out.
No,
it was an absolute.
And honestly, in my mind, I was like, you can't strike out your last at bat. Like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Like, come on, come back from this at bat. Let's go.
Strike out, you did not, my friend.
The literal opposite.
We need to put this on social media, and we need to put the clip of Sam crying.
Honestly, the reaction of in left field with everyone, I like all the reactions, like that really hit home to me too. Like that was special. I was like, wow, like everyone was just like so happy for me, and that really meant a lot too.
Yeah. Well, I think it shows a lot about who you are as a human being. The fact like how happy we were for you. It's like this could not happen to a better human being that like deserves the absolute best last at bat ever.
Storybook.
And
it
was
hugging.
Storybook.
Everyone was hugging.
We were all hugging and crying.
Dude, I ran onto the field like I was on the team.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I gotta get back in there.
You stormed the court. Like you literally stormed the court.
Yeah, dude. What an accumulation. Good. Like what you're saying is just you kind of let your body do its thing. You like
I really did.
If I don't know what I'm doing right now in my last at bat, I'm then what like let me just let all the years come out right now in this at bat.
Yep.
So amazing.
Halo, do you wanna wrap us up like Amanda wrapped up her career?
Oh my gosh. I can't wrap us up the storybook way that Amanda wrapped her career. I think it's impossible. But I think Amanda, one of the things that we do with a lot of our guests is
gonna be like Amanda. What the hell?
Yeah, who's
I know.
Amanda?
Sorry,
Chiddy. Bang bang. One of the things that we do is we ask just a little lasting piece of advice that you have. If you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I think that to my younger self, it would be. Because I think it's part of life sometimes, but like I think there was a piece of my life where I strayed from the passion that I play the game with because of maybe being judged or, oh my gosh, like she needs to calm down. And I wish that I would have never strayed from the passion that I have for the game, because I think that when I came back, I fully was me every single day. And that's when I played my best. And so I would tell my younger self, like, don't let anyone's opinions stray you from how much you love the game and how much energy that you bring to it just by being your true self. I would say be all in with that. Like, people are going to want to take you away from that. Don't let them.
Okay. That was pretty good.
I absolutely love it.
That was a storybook ending to another great episode of Base Hits and Banter.
I appreciate you guys asking me to be on this podcast. I've seen a lot of great people on it, and I can't wait to continue to see it grow and just thrive, especially with you two as the hosts.
Wow.
Wow, that was really nice. We appreciate you coming on. Anytime we
Yeah.
get to chat with you in general is great, but for the podcast is also really cool.
Truly.
So we
The people
appreciate
need
you,
to know
Chiddy.
what's up. Yeah.
Yeah,
And now we've got a Bantee for life in Amanda Chister.
absolutely.
Yes.
We'll send you some merch. Maybe we can get some of your
Love
Michigan
that.
softball girlies to wear it too. We're rooting for you guys the rest of the way.
Yes.
So
Go blue, man. We
Go
say it every
blue.
day.
Go blue.
Go blue.
I know. I love it when you guys tell me go blue all the time.
Yeah, it's like-
Go
Go
blue.
blue. Let's go.
well, I mean, God, Chiddy.
Yes,
thank
everyone
you.
in the softball world. My name is Amanda. Clearly.
Probably like, who is boss? Chiddy, you're amazing. We love you. It was an honor to play with you. But you know what?
Honor
It's
to
an
play
even
with both
bigger
of
honor to be
you.
your friend. So,
Yeah.
Bantee buddies.
Forever.
Fancy buddies.
Team USA has brought me opportunities that I never thought would happen before, and I'm super humbled to be able to represent my country.
There's so much talent in the United States playing softball right now, and we want to see the game continue to grow and prosper and develop.
I want to develop not just men, but women's softball as well.
I want to see more girls like me playing this sport.
I just hope one day that I could be somewhat mentioned like a Natasha Watley to help this game.
I just remember like watching everyone like in the Olympics, like, and you guys just representing this country. And for me playing USA softball, like I just want to do the same.